everyone, so today I'm going to share my experience. How did I become a permanent resident of Australia? From student visa to temporary graduate visa and now luckily a permanent resident of Australia. Before anything else, I would like you to know that I am not a migration agent. I am just sharing my experiences and some of the tips that I have done when it comes to applying my permanent residency or processing our application on my own. It means DIY or do-it-yourself application. So I didn't avail of any services of migration consultancy. So I just patiently studied and checked what things that needs to be done and lodge the visa of my family by myself. But it doesn't mean that you have to do the same thing. If you're not sure, it is best to always seek advice and help to migration experts. Okay, also English is not my first language. Pardon me for any grammatical errors that I'm going to say, but I will try my best to relay the message clearly, the best that I could. Without further ado, let's keep on rolling. A little bit of background of myself. I'm Cindy. I'm a former international student here in Australia, and I took a Master of Professional Accounting in 2018. I came here with my dependent, my husband with me, left my firstborn back home. We stayed in Victoria for 2 years. However, because of the migration rules, we're having difficulty of finding our pathway to PR with my skill under accounting. So that prompts me to think of something else, any way that we could get our permanent residency. After that, I applied my 485 graduate visa by myself as well. While applying, COVID hits. The turnaround time for the application took longer as it should. Also, when I graduated my degree, I'm having difficulty of finding a job in my field. Even Australians or citizens or PR that time are being laid off to their job. I'm finding it hard to compete with them, obtain a job within the field. One of my friends urged me and pushed me to do something else, and I'm very thankful for him if he's watching. So while my visa is in process, the 485 graduate visa, I studied Certificate 3 in individual support in Victoria so that I can land a job in the aged care or disability industry. So that moment in time, I know that accounting will be very hard for us to obtain our permanent residency. The second plan is look for other states and check for their migration rules. That's one of my first tips. If you feel that you are having difficulty with the skill right now, maybe you can consider transferring to other states and check what are the rules. So becoming a permanent resident has lots of ways, and one of the way that I'm sharing is from how did I get my permanent residency, and it's the 190 state nomination skilled nominated visa. All of the requirements can be found in the Department of Home Affairs website. But what did I exactly do for me to get the permanent residency? That time, I know that nursing is in demand during the COVID time. While I'm on my 485 visa, it means that I can study and work at the same time. Ideally, I should be working in my field. But as I mentioned earlier, COVID hits and I'm having difficulty to find a job in accounting. Slowly, I put myself into the door of healthcare. I studied Certificate 3 in individual support, gain a job as a disability support worker while I am studying. A friend of mine, my distant relative, helped me to land a job as a personal carer after I finished my Certificate 3. I've done those jobs in Victoria. But at the back of my mind, I already did a research of all the requirements of every state to become a permanent resident under 190. It is best to visit the website of each state and check for their specific rules of how you're going to be nominated in that state. That time, I am in the process of getting myself to convince the school that I'm really into, healthcare. It's a bit challenging to be given a slot for a diploma of nursing at TAFE unless you have a background of healthcare, in which, coming from an accounting industry, it would be challenging for me to convince them to get me enrolled in that course without any healthcare background, right? So luckily, I have secured a slot and enrolled in that course. I remember we are 30 students and only 5 or 6 were international students. I'm one of the 5. As of today, all of us were already permanent residents. So what a good news, isn't it? So we did something else before we studied Diploma of Nursing. What has been granted to my family is 190 skilled nominated visa. So we are a family of 4. I am the main applicant. This visa, you can work and study anywhere in Australia. This visa is one of the permanent resident visas. There are other visas, but I will focus on the visa that I have obtained. You can also sponsor eligible relative for permanent residence. And if eligible, if we meet the residency requirement, then we can apply for Australian citizenship. So you must have an occupation on the relevant skills list. It can be short term or it can be medium and long term. Have a suitable skills assessment for the occupation. You must be invited to apply for this visa, and you should have received a nomination from the state. Today, this visa costs 4,640 for the main applicant. And for further visa pricing estimator, just visit the Department of Home Affairs website. So Cindy, how did you become eligible for this visa? So first one, you should be nominated by one of the Australian state or territory. So in my case, I was nominated by Tasmania, invited to apply for 190 visa. This is how it works. You lodge your registration of interest or ROI to the state where you are seeking nomination. At the same time, you will also lodge your expression of interest. So that is free. Both are free. So an applicant will only be invited to apply for the visa if they are nominated. Again, all state and territory government agencies have their own criteria of who will they nominate. Therefore, it is highly advisable that you visit their website to check what are their requirements for you to get an invitation. Next one is have a suitable skills assessment. For your application to be valid, you must declare that you have a suitable skills assessment at the time of application. So in my case, I have a skills assessment for Diploma of Nursing, which is Enrolled Nurse. It is issued by ANMAC. So they are the skills authority for my occupation. So for you to find out which assessing authority will do your skills assessment, just visit the Department of Home Affairs website. Next one is you should be under 45 when they invite you for the visa. Take note, you can still apply for the visa if you turn 45 after they invite you to apply. So technically, you are under 45 years of age when they invite you to apply. Next one is you should be able to score 65 points or more. So in my case, I scored 75 points plus 5 points from the state. But also bear in mind, having 65 points doesn't mean that you will be invited straight away. It just says you are eligible to be invited. However, for you to become more competitive, you have to aim a higher score. So you can do that by getting 20 points in PTE or with your age or with your qualifications and a lot more. Next one is you should have a competent English. So having competent English doesn't give you any points, but if you try hard and gain like a proficient score, you will get 10 points for that, and maximum is 20 points, meaning you have a superior English language. So you can take PTE or IELTS. So those are the two popular English exams. Next is you should meet the skills requirements. So in my case, I have a skills assessment for enrolled nurse. You should also meet the health requirements. So when you're applying as a family, so the whole family should undergo medicals. You should also meet the character requirements. So you and your family age 16 must meet the character requirements. So you should submit police check and overseas police check. You should also pay back your debt to the Australian government. In my case, I don't have any debt, so I'm good with it. Lastly, you should not had a visa cancelled or previous application refused. And now let's jump in. How did I get the nomination from Tasmania? First, we have to check the Migration Tasmania website. So we'll just type Migration Tasmania in the search bar. And this is the official website of Tasmania. As you can see, if there is tasgov.au, it means this is a government website. We'll click into that field. So we can just search for, let's say, 190. Click Migration Tasmania and search. We'll put on skilled migrants. We are eyeing for subclass 190. Click that thing. In here, gives you information how to become eligible for 190. The visa requirements that I have tackled earlier. And here's the main thing, nomination requirements for Migration Tasmania. And it clearly says here, meeting the minimum nomination requirements published on the website does not guarantee that you will be offered Tasmanian nomination. So there are nomination pathways. So we'll click onto this. There are different pathways for obtaining 190 nomination. It can be Tasmanian Skilled Employment Pathway. It means you don't need to have the qualification gained through a Tasmanian educational institution. But there are things that you need to meet in order for you to have the nomination. And Tasmanian Skilled Graduate Pathway, Tasmanian Established Resident Pathway, Overseas Applicant Health Sector Job Offer Pathway. So bear in mind, so this is the specific rules of Tasmania. If you are on other states, just Google and search and check what are the specific requirements for you to obtain 190 nomination. So in my case, I applied under this pathway, Tasmanian Skilled Graduate Pathway. So let's hop into this and have a look at what they require. So it clearly states here, you may also need to possess one or more of the priority attributes listed for this pathway. So priority attributes, this what makes you more competitive from the other applicants. It says all occupations are eligible for this pathway. These are the minimum requirement for a 190 Tasmanian Skilled Graduate Pathways. Have completed the course and obtained a letter of completion. You must have lived in the state for at least 2 calendar years. Your course of study must be AQF5 or diploma, in which I had Diploma of Nursing. Your course must have been completed full-time and on-site. You must be currently living in Tasmania and intend to continue living in Tasmania, and there are some bits and pieces in there. And the priority attributes for selection, so we can just click this one. It has categories. It has gold, green, and orange. Your application will be categorized depending on the attributes that you may have. In my case, I fall under green category. But for gold, it means you have a skills assessment and direct related employment for at least the past 3 months included in the critical roles list. It means if you are in gold, after lodgement of your registration of interest, you can be invited straight away to provide all your documentations, and then they will assess all the attributes that you have claimed, and if you have proven everything, they will straight away give you nomination. And in green, we will invite you to submit all your documents, maybe 4 to 6 weeks as far as I remember. And in orange, your application will stay up until 6 months before they invite you to apply. Have a look at these priority attributes if you are here in Tasmania. It will help you what are the things that you need to meet in order for the Migration Tasmania to consider your application. So otherwise, if you don't meet any of these, you should think of something else or try working out how you're going to meet these priority attributes. All right, so as a recap of the whole process, so I recorded it in my phone. 21st of March, I submitted my registration of interest with Migration Tasmania, and prior to that, I've already prepared all the necessary documents because I believe, like, I have this strong feeling I will be getting the invite. That's the manifestation, isn't it? And on the 24th of March, I get the ROI pre-invite, which means that Migration Tasmania is asking me to submit all the documents to support my claim. Day after that, 25th of March, I submitted all my documents for the whole family. And 3rd of March, there's an update in my account which says ROI case assigned and delegate decision pending. The day after that, a delegate decision made, so it means a case officer is looking into my application already. The 5th of April, I got my registration of interest approved. It means that that day I already got the proper nomination, like the final nomination to lodge a 190 visa application. For a week, I lodged the 190 visa application myself. It was 11th of April and 12th of April. I booked the earliest medicals for the whole family, got the clearance of medicals on the 20th of April. That was just a week. The waiting game starts. After almost 3 months, we got our 190 approval or visa grant on the 25th of July. From received to granted. No case officer contact, no S56. The main point is that I prepared everything. It minimizes the case officer asking us for additional documents. So even though we haven't received the invitation yet, I assumed, I prayed for it that I'll be getting the nomination beforehand. I've already applied for NBI in the Philippines, police check. Even my husband, from where he stays more than 6 months, we need to provide international police check for that. So I've arranged it everything. Yeah, that makes our application smoother and easier, maybe, in a sense. So even though it's a DIY application, hopefully those information helps you a bit, but all the guide or reliable information can be found in the Department of Home Affairs website. Make sure to check the state websites so that you know the requirements and how you can work it out. Okay, hope that helps. See ya. God bless. Bye.